Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is September 10th, 2020, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, sadly, we have to report today that No More Heroes 3 is being delayed to 2021. Now, we don't know exactly the time frame in 2021 just yet, like month of release or release date, obviously. However, it was announced by Suda51 that the game will be delayed, and due to the pandemic, it's understandable. Probably this was going to be a fall title, somewhere November, December territory, so hopefully it comes out within the first half of 2021. That would still be nice, and as long as the game comes out and comes out strong, I'll be happy. This right here is some artwork from Derek Robertson, one of the co-creators of The Boys, and we see Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes 3 looking pretty cool. So at least we get something to look at, maybe get a little bit of an idea of what the game's vibe is going to be. Obviously, if you look right here, this looks surprisingly, or I should say maybe not so surprisingly, like a Joy-Con, so I wouldn't be surprised if Travis Touchdown is using some type of Joy-Con apparatus as a weapon in the game. But hopefully we get a trailer this holiday season that shows us more of what the game looks like, since we don't have too much to go off of yet. But I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be cool. I'm a fan of Travis Touchdown. I like the No More Heroes titles back on Wii, and a delay isn't that bad, because as long as the game turns out right in the end, that's what's most important. Next up, we found out that Warframe is getting a file size reduction. This was announced today. Digital Extremes said that it will be a negligible difference in terms of visual quality, but there should be a drastic change in just how much less memory is needed to take up these textures. So that sounds good. That's the best of both worlds. You know, from the time they made this game to now, file sizes have only gone up in the majority of games that are coming out on the market, including their own Warframe, with updates over the years and whatnot. But with new technology, with compression work, being able to deliver the same game, same visual graphic fidelity, or like they said, negligible differences in the textures, while having a significant texture drop in file size, is awesome. So this will be applied to all versions across PC, consoles, the Nintendo Switch version that came out. And yeah, not bad. It's good to know. Warframe is a fun title, and you know, now if you're worried about how much space you have left on your hard drive or your micro SDXC card, don't have to worry as much now. Next up, this is something particularly for the European market, but on October 30th, there will be a new Fortnite Nintendo Switch bundle that hits Europe, and in November 6th in Australia and New Zealand. You can see here what it includes. It's the Wildcat bundle with another 2,000 V-Bucks, and they actually did something to the Nintendo Switch itself. You could take a look. The dock has character artwork on it. It has the bus on the right Joy-Con. It has, for that matter, a light orange and a kind of a royal bluish blue Joy-Con for left and right. There's a little bit closer of a look at the dock of the system itself, and at the back, which has a fair amount of artwork. So like I said, October in Europe, November in Australia. They definitely should sell pretty well this holiday season, because Fortnite is big, especially now with the Marvel Avengers, as I'm wearing Marvel Avengers shirt today, ironically, or not so ironically, hitting the game. The game is only seeing more downloads and more playtime. Next along the list of things to talk about is the Ubisoft Forward event, which begins officially today at 12 o'clock, which is only in a couple of more hours from the time of this recording. That'll be 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so adjust accordingly for where you are in the world in relation to California, and we should get a good amount of announcements coming from Ubisoft today. But one of the things that looks like it leaked early is something that we actually covered on Video Game News with Paul Gale Network a few weeks ago, and that's the Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake. I thought that the remake was from this Prince of Persia, but we didn't know exactly which Prince of Persia would get remade, because it could have been the original side-scroller, it could have been the Sands of Time, it could have been the standalone POP title from Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in the mid-2000s. So evidently, this is the one that we're getting. This is a leaked screenshot, but at 12 o'clock we should get the official trailer. We have a little bit of video footage coming out here though. It's short, but gives us a look at just what they're putting into the game. Looks to be more remake than remaster, so that's good. Just how much effort they put in, what exactly they're changing, we don't know, but we should find out in a couple of more hours. Moving along, we've got a new trailer today from Game & Watch. This is their Super Mario Bros. A closer look trailer. It's about a minute long, but we learned about this device first from the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct just a week ago, and now we get to see more of it. 1980. Game & Watch, which is pretty cool because this release right here is basically a 40-year anniversary of Game & Watch and a 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. in one. Nice little trailer, getting some more angles of the system. Modern day LCD screen, tight controls, rechargeable battery with USB connector. Couple of games, a bunch of different clock screen touches to discover. Coming out, available November 13th. That's pretty soon. I'll be picking one up because I'm a fan of Nintendo's and I like having their physical, tangible products such as the NES Classic Edition, the SNES Classic Edition, and this is not quite a Game & Watch Classic Edition as it doesn't have, a bunch of different games on it, but it has a couple of heavy hitters, titles that I own multiple times over, but I just like having new things to play with, even though it's an old experience. It's in a new way or a modern way or a retro way. It's just fun. I'm pretty sure that this is going to sell quite well. I wonder how Nintendo's going to stock it, because surely they have learned from the past two releases of the NES and SNES Classic Edition that both stay in very high demand on the market and sell out very quickly. Now you could also argue that both of those were bigger deals than this because more people owned an NES or an SNES, more people were familiar with Nintendo at that point in Nintendo's history than they were when Game & Watch was a thing. But that being said, I still think this is going to sell well, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how many they pump out this holiday season. Next up, switching over to Xbox talk. We knew about this for a while, but now we have official images and the site is live, and that is that Xbox and Taco Bell are once again teaming up. You could win yourself an Xbox Series X. All you have to do is go over to the store, buy a drink, and enter. This begins September 24th, just with a medium or large drink, and there you go, you're entered. One winner every 15 minutes, given out quite a few Xbox Series X consoles. For very little effort, you could enter in and have a chance to win. So I guess if you're thirsty and it's a hot day where you're living, you could do worse with a couple of bucks than give it a shot, right? So I think it's cool. I have had some success in these type of contests. I won a Taco Bell contest back in the day for Star Wars, when Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace came out. It wasn't the grand prize, but it does show you that it is possible to win real people that I've talked with actually do win these things. When I was in high school, one of my fellow classmates won the ice blue Game Boy Pocket from Taco Bell also. So there are different people that I know of that have won, different people that I've talked with online that have won different contests, including some good prizes from these fast food chains when they have this kind of promotion. So it's real. I guess it's worth a shot, you know. Worst case scenario, you have yourself a drink for a couple of dollars and a one in many chance at possibly winning, right? Best case scenario, you did win and you just saved, $498 on a system. But good job, Microsoft, on teaming up with Taco Bell, and I guess keeping that relationship pretty healthy because they have done this quite a few times now. And last thing in gaming news for now is my favorite thing to talk about, one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is regular weekly Famitsu sales data coming out of Japan. As always, I have to give props to Chris1964 for compiling this data together, making it nice and laid out, easy to read on the resetera.com forums. You could find this information elsewhere, but I do like giving credit to where I typically find it from, and that's why I'm giving a shout out, because in this case, Chris1964 deserves the recognition, and so does resetera.com as a forum deserve it. Not to take too long in this section, and that's also why I saved it to the end, because if you're not interested in this talk, you could kind of fast forward it, but maybe if you listen to it, you'll have fun. Anyways, this represents week 36 of 2020, specifically August 31st to September 6th. These are the top 10 best-selling games of that time period in Japan. Number 1, Ring Fit Adventure from Nintendo, busting out almost another 64,000 units sold, nearing the 1.5 million mark, up another 19% this week than the previous week. Once again, I talk about this weekly, saying if Nintendo properly has Ring Fit Adventure stock out there, it will sell. Next up, Marvel's Avengers at number 2, which the number 2 mark isn't that bad to debut in, especially when you're competing against a lot of Nintendo heavy hitters in Japan. But that number of 42,000, it's a lot less than Spider-Man from Insomniac Games a few years ago. So despite the Marvel Avengers IP being pretty big and in Japan doing quite well, this game is not reaching people's hearts as well as probably Square Enix wanted it to. And that's too bad, because an Avengers game could have been something awesome, could have been something special. Not to say the game's bad, but it's better than average. But for such a large franchise and so many powerful characters in it, it should have been handled differently, in my opinion, and could have been something great. And then it would have received sales appropriate to how great it is. Right now, perhaps the sales are reflecting the fairly mediocrity of the game, although I wouldn't be surprised if overall in the world the game still sells pretty well because the Marvel IP is so big. So maybe it will actually sell more than it deserves. However, in Japan, not that impressive of a debut. Animal Crossing comes in at number 3 at 32,000. The game's dropping, down 7% from the previous week, but the holidays are coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Animal Crossing again top 100,000 units per week a few more times this year. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, once again, another evergreen title that's up 11% from its previous week. 3.1 million total, 13,500 for the week. Clubhouse Games coming in at number 5, up 7% from the previous week. It's up to 362,000 now. Ghost of Tsushima, fallen down, but hanging in there. It will easily hit 400,000 within the next 2 weeks, and that's not bad. NBA 2K21 at number 7, debuting at 8,500. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, another evergreen title from Nintendo's at 7,700 units, now at 3.8 million. This thing will easily pass it will easily pass 4 million units in physical sales by the end of this year, and that is tremendous. Last two games, The Legend of Heroes at number 9 and Powerful Pro Baseball at number 10, 7,600 and 7,300 respectively. It's a 6-4 split between Nintendo Switch and PS4, and not a bad week for software, but nothing too exciting. I think the most exciting thing is, in this case, Ring Fit Adventure, and seeing how well its legs are. Now, what I think is pretty cool this week in particular is the hardware sales, because we have a very important number to look at this week, and that is, thanks to this week Nintendo Switch selling 77,000 units, we have officially hit 15 million lifetime in just 3 years and 6 months in Japan. That's phenomenal. Nintendo Switch is now about the 10th best-selling console of all time in Japan, and its trajectory looks like it's on its way to easily cracking the top 5, possibly the top 3. Could it become number 2 or number 1? Maybe, but it really has to have long legs, a really strong library for years to come, smart price drops when they do happen, if they do have models coming out, such as a Nintendo Switch Plus or Pro or something like that. Clear distinction between what models offer, proper timing of said potential mid-gen refresh, and yeah, they don't want to cannibalize any of their sales, but they want to make each one attractive and each at different distinct price points. But it could become the best-selling system of all time in Japan, but I think top 5 or top 3 is very likely. And you just look at how well it's doing, this year is neck and neck with where it did last year for that respective week, and very close to last week's sales. PS4 is a different story. You could see the difference in sales vastly from 1,816 this year to this respective week last year at 33,728. But between this week and last week, not much of a drop. The Nintendo 3DS at 923, the Xbox One at 29. Xbox One is the only system that in fact sold more than it did last week by 1. That's not really much to talk about, unfortunately, for Xbox. Maybe the Series X will do a little better in Japan, or the Series S, being a smaller unit, being more affordable than PS5, we'll see. But that about will do it for this week's discussion on hardware and software. Software, not the craziest, but Ring Fit Adventure definitely stands out. Hardware, pretty on par with how hardware looked like last week, but the big story is definitely that Nintendo Switch hit 15 million. Let me know what you thought of today's topics. As a refresher, are you looking forward to No More Heroes 3? What do you think, Derek? What do you think of Derek Robertson's artwork? Are you looking forward to the game? Are you disappointed that it is being delayed? Are you okay with it? Sound off. What do you think of Warframe and the fact that it's going to have a smaller file size? Are you a fan of this title? Have you not downloaded it because you're either not interested or didn't have the space? Because now you might have the space. Are you a Fortnite fan or not? What do you think of this box art, of the console itself, of the printed on characters? Think it's cool or not? What would you like to see instead of Fortnite, if you're not interested in this, as a Nintendo Switch exclusive build? Another Animal Crossing one, a Mario 35th one, a Zelda one? Let me know in the comments. What are you looking forward to most potentially at the Ubisoft Forward event? Do you think Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time Remake looks cool based off of what we've seen so far or not? Are you going to get Game & Watch, this Super Mario Brothers version celebrating the 40th and 35th anniversary of Game & Watch and Mario Brothers respectively? Are you a Taco Bell fan? Are you going to go get this Xbox Series X sticker that you peel off of your cup? And if you win, you're going to let me know? Let me know what you think. And finally, talk to me anything you want about hardware sales, software sales in Japan. Are you liking this talk? Are you not a fan, but you're starting to become more of a fan of sales talk because it's kind of interesting? Let me know. You could be truthful. I appreciate your time as always. I look forward to reading your comments. I will reply to all of you. Thank you. This is PGN signing out. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time tomorrow for more video game news. But before then, I may do another update based off of what we see out of the Ubisoft Forward event. So you may see me one more time before tomorrow, September 11th. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.